Oh, hey!
Hi.
Any luck squeezing me in today?
All of our masseuses are fully booked. But I actually have some free time right now, myself.
Oh.
Everyone was raving about this series, so I finally checked it out. Does it hold up to the hype? Hi there, it's Micha. Join me for this review if you like to get my take on it. The first season covers the one-week stay of a group of guests in the White Lotus, a luxurious resort located on Maui, and their interactions with the hotel staff. There is the Mosbacher family, with the mother being the CFO of a big company, the father still trying to make up for a past infidelity, the son only interested in his video games, the daughter being annoyed by her brother's sheer presence, and the daughter's less privileged best friend. There is also a newlywed couple where he was born into money while she always struggled to make ends meet. And finally, a middle-aged woman who recently lost her controlling mother, planning to spread her ashes in the ocean. On the staff side, we have the resort manager who mainly struggles with one guest whose room was double booked, resulting in a lot of tension. The empathetic spa manager people always take advantage of, and a waiter who starts an affair with one of the young guests. During the week, all their lives are turned upside down, while they learn what they are truly all about, for better or worse. While the show is well written and all the actors do a fantastic job, I was somehow expecting a bit more. This is usually what happens though if a series is totally overhyped. Those for me rarely live up to that hype. But don't get me wrong, it still is a more than solid show. Besides that, my main issue was the start of a show. And that may be just a me problem, but one of my least favorite tropes in movies and TV shows is beginning with a flash forward.
White Lotus. Our guide told us someone was killed there.
Bodies on our plane.
Here we first learn that someone in the resort died during the week, with one character highly suggested to be the victim, before we jump back to the guest's arrival. When a procedural show does that, showing a dramatic scene before they jump back a few hours or days, I truly hate it, as for me that is just lazy writing, often ending with a big cop-out. When it happens at the start of a season, it is less annoying and can work if it sets up the right expectations. And that is exactly the point. The opening made me expect this to be more of a murder mystery, putting my focus on the question whether the body truly was the person suggested, which would be quite plain, or if that was a red herring, as I guess most viewers would also expect to be the case. However, the show actually was a drama with some dark humor sprinkled in, but I, instead of concentrating on the well done storytelling, was almost bored by it, as I was looking for those mystery elements that never really materialized. Without this setup at the start, I might have enjoyed this show much more for what it is, instead of being a bit underwhelmed due to what I was made to believe it would be. On a repeat watch, I would likely appreciate the show more, but my initial reception was tainted by this. Otherwise, it was a very interesting watch, which was originally conceived as a limited series, but due to its success became a semi-anthology series. And I say semi, because in season 2, one of the main characters will return, as will be true for another one in the third entry. This freshman season is all about power dynamics within relationships, with a special focus on money and wealth, most prominently highlighted by the struggle the newlywed wife has with apparently just becoming arm candy, not expected to follow her ambitions anymore. And of course the influence the rich guests have on the staff, that can be quickly majorly impacted by whatever situation their guests' impulsive actions may cause. While they mostly do a great job here with the storytelling, there is also another issue. There is not enough focus on the local staff, just on the American guests. This becomes painfully clear when one of the staff members finds themselves in hot water due to the somewhat well-intended suggestion of one of the main characters, which led to a crime. The show only mentions the outcome for the local character in passing, never revealing how that person was found out to be the culprit, and never showing them again or telling us what happened afterwards. The only focus was on the feelings of the guest and how they dealt with it. This is pretty much in line with what I have come to expect from a show made in the USA, at least in general. This is not intended to offend, it is just an observation. And of course there are also many shows where the writing is more inclusive and thoughtful. However, HBO seems to produce with mainly the domestic audience in mind. Which reminds me, this show was produced by HBO, but the series could almost be considered something for the whole family to watch, if you can tolerate a little bit of cursing.
No offense. Leave me the fuck alone.
However, the magic word here is almost, as HBO seems to have a clause in their contracts that each show has to have at least 1 or 2 scenes to shock the audience. Here in the pilot you have a character who suspects himself to have testicular cancer, presenting his junk in a close-up. Why? Who needs to see that?
Are they bigger?
Oh, you tell me.
I haven't seen them in a while.
2 quick side notes though. First off, that was apparently a prosthetic, as confirmed by Steve Zahn in an interview. And secondly, here in Germany that episode was still rated FSK 12, meaning kids 12 years and above can watch it. I thought that might be interesting for cultural context. The second scene was a character taking a dump, where you can see CGI turds protruding from their silhouette. Both scenes did nothing to further the plot and frankly felt out of place. Again, why? Who wants to see that? Just because you can show things on HBO shouldn't mean you have to. Especially, as I mentioned, when the show without those unnecessary elements could have opened up the story to a wider and younger audience. Just saying. And with that being said, let's get to the rating. Overall, this was a good show. The acting was strong throughout, the storytelling well done, the characters were interesting and the production value was high. I can't blame the producers for the series being so overhyped, but that still impacted my expectations. Trying to ignore that fact, I still felt that there was some room for improvement, as I called out in the review part. For those reasons, I'm rating this first season with 7 out of 10 points. As I now know that the mystery they teased us with in the beginning was misleading and not the center of the show, I would likely rate it slightly higher on a second watch though. I still think from a storytelling perspective, the show would have been better served if they wouldn't have teased the ending at the start and only revealed that plot point at the finish line. What about you? Did you also felt misled by the setup? Did you see the show when it came out and became part of the hype, or did you watch it later? If so, were you also a little bit underwhelmed? Whatever you like to share, let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, feel free to like, share or subscribe. So much for now, see you next time and thanks for watching. In the White Lotus, a luxurious. This freshman season is all about power dynamics within relationships. With one character highly suggested to be the victim. Did you also felt misled by the setup?